Welcome to episode 107 of Big Blue News.
Thanks for tuning in. Now let's get into the news. Quarter 3 is finally over and we are now in the final stretch of the school year, quarter 4. Grade 3 set, so now is your chance to start fresh and fix your grades. It feels like time has flown by so quickly. Swampscott High School is officially granted senior privileges to start the quarter, and there's been a controversy at the beginning of the year for seniors losing their senior privileges due to administration, for many reasons such as safety. Many students were against the idea and talked to staff, although you do have to check in with the front desk. Seniors are now able to leave the school grounds during study periods, meaning if you have a study first or last, you can arrive late or leave early during school. For lunch, seniors are now allowed to leave the school only if they have a study before or after lunch, but must come back right before or when lunch is over. According to Ms. Dotto, if students have a grade below C- or misuse these rights by constantly being late, they will lose these privileges. But other than that, quarter 4 is off to a great start.
The Swampscott High School runs a program called Girls in STEM, where high school girls get a chance to demonstrate their skills and love for science, technology, engineering, and medicine. We take you live to the atrium where Sasha is with STEM members Aria and Maxine to discuss their current environmental project regarding the growing trees at the Swampscott High School.
Thank you, Cam. Hi, Swampscott High School. I'm Sasha Shadari, and today I'm interviewing 2 members of the Girls in STEM Club, and today we'll be discussing their treehouse atrium project. For my first question, what is Girls in STEM and what does it stand for?
So Girls in STEM is a club at the high school. It stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. It's basically just a place for people, non-male identifying students to come and talk about those fields and what we intend to do in the future.
Yeah, we do a lot of fun labs and field trips and projects that engage in science. Yeah.
What is your favorite field trip that you guys have been on?
My favorite field trip was the aquarium we went to last year. It was a really great time. We got to see a bunch of stuff.
I also like the aquarium, but we went to the Science Museum a few years ago, and that was super fun too.
How did the Girls in STEM start this project with the trees in the atrium?
So we started it with the gardening club at the school, and then we kind of took over the project with some of their help as well. We kind of wanted to just bring like green space to the atrium because we think it just creates like a more positive atmosphere and really adds a lot to the beginning of the school day.
Yeah, and this used to be empty for a really long time, but this project was originally a senior project, so once she graduated, we also kind of helped and took it over.
That's really interesting and really cool to learn about. Are there any future plans for this environmental project, or what does Girls in STEM plan to do later in the school year?
So yeah, we plan to fill it up more. We just got some dirt to fill up the garden boxes that we have in there, and then as well as just getting more plants. And then do you want to talk about our field trip?
Oh yeah, we're planning to go to the Harvard Museum of Natural History towards the end of May, so that'll also be fun, see some nature.
That's really cool. Hopefully you guys can share some photos. Thank you for joining us today, and I'm really grateful to be able to interview you guys. Back to the news desk.
Thank you, Sasha, Aria, and Maxine.
Moving on, we were luckily able to get an interview with Katie Arrington, who is running for the school committee. Let's take a look.
Hello everyone, we're here with Miss Arrington today, who's running for school committee. How are you today?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. We just had a few questions for you today. First one, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and your connection to the schools?
Sure. So I grew up in Swampscott. I graduated from the high school, which is now the middle school, in 2002. I am married to a Swampscott graduate as well, and I am raising 2 kids here in town. Thomas is a sophomore here at the high school, and Hallie is a first grader at our elementary school, and I work at Iamonte & Sons, which is a mechanical contracting company.
Next question is, why are you running for the school committee?
I've thought about running for school committee for a while now. When Thomas graduated from 4th grade, I became involved in town politics, and I worked on the Yes campaign for our new elementary school, getting that passed. And it was really meaningful to me to see the start to finish process from getting our votes passed with the community to now children, my own included, thriving in that building. And I want to assist that for the middle school, and I want to advocate for all our kids, because it's not just about mine.
What are your priorities for Swampscott Public Schools?
So I want to definitely advocate for our schools budget-wise. I want to make sure that, everybody has what they need. I want to establish what we're going to do with our middle school, because we have this beautiful high school, we have our beautiful elementary school, and we need to provide our middle school students and teachers with the proper tools and education in a building that is sufficient. And I also think a priority for not only our school department, but also our town, is we need to do something about the track up here. It's unacceptable, and we need to make that a priority ASAP.
And one final question. What is your long-term goal for Swampscott, like the public in general?
Sure. I hope that our town and our school department can work collaboratively. We've been doing a good job. I hope that we start by having our budget season earlier. I hope that we have at least annual financial summits with our FinCom committee, our select board, capital improvement, and the school department. I hope that we have some revenue-based businesses coming online, and I hope that we are working together for the betterment of Swampscott.
Well, thank you again, Ms. Arrington, for joining us, and thank you for running for the school committee here.
Thank you for having me. This is great.
Yes, thank
We
you so much
appreciate
for
it.
joining us at Big Blue News.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Good luck to all the candidates running for school committee.
Let's move on to Ryan Hale. Ryan Hale is running for town moderator role while no one else is opposed. A little bit about Hale is that he grew up in New Jersey and moved to Boston. Some of his hobbies include sailing, biking, and camping. Ryan was asked the question of what makes him qualified for this position. He said that he has been one of the town meeting members as well as a volunteer member, and that he admires the process and the organization. The previous town moderator was Mr. McClung, and he has decided that he is stepping down from running again. Hale has connections with McClung from previously being a part of Blue Big Band together, and from that, he learned that McClung was planning to hang up his gavel, and Ryan thought that this could be a way to further serve his community by running for moderator. Ryan Hale said that if he is elected, his priorities in his first year would be to aid systemic town meetings to respectfully distribute points to to make decisions going forward.
On April 3rd, in the midst of the U.S.-Iran conflict, an F-15E with 2 U.S. service members was shot down by an Iranian shoulder-mounted missile. This aircraft became what is believed to be the first shot down by enemy fire in the U.S.-Iran conflict, as well as the first in 20 years. With help, the U.S. sent 2 helicopters to rescue the first pilot relatively quickly. As regards to the second pilot, it was uncertain whether he had ejected safely and was in hiding, had been killed in the crash, or was captured by Iranian forces. President Trump later announced, quote, "We got him. My fellow Americans, over the past several hours, the United States military pulled off one of the most daring search and rescue operations in U.S. history," end quote, signaling the rescue of the 2 airmen. Similarly, an American A-10 Warhawk was shot down by Iranian fire, but flew to Kuwaiti airspace before the pilot safely ejected.
Moving on, we at Big Blue News thought it was important that we underscore the unappreciated buildup of American troops and military equipment in and around Iran. With certainty, there are overall 50,000 troops stationed across the Middle East currently. The Vermont National Guard Air Corps has been deployed. Special Operations Forces have been activated. 2 Marine exploratory groups are known to be on the USS Tripoli, along with units of the 82 Airborne specialized in the rapid insertion that is supported by 2 aircraft carrier strikes groups with missile capabilities. This is the largest military buildup since Operation Iraqi Freedom. This shows the U.S. government, while not committed, is considering a possibility of having a ground invasion. We sincerely hope that our servicemen come back home safe and in one piece.
The U.S. and Iran have negotiated a ceasefire to attempt to open the Strait of Hormuz. Iran refuses to open the strait until Israeli ceasefire on Lebanon. Trump said, quote, "Iran is doing a very poor job, dishonorable some may say, of allowing oil to go straight through the Strait of Hormuz. This is not the agreement we have," end quote. The agreement is already under strain with both sides already disagreeing, and Iran has announced a 10-point plan by the U.S. responding by saying, quote, "It is workable," end quote.
Swampscott has recently thought about lowering the voting age to 16 and move town elections from the spring to the fall. This was suggested as an attempt to increase engagement and turnout in all further town elections. The Swampscott TV crew asked some of their students their thoughts on lowering the age.
It brings more experience and, better sides to the voting.
It'll allow people to have like different opinions on stuff.
Then you shouldn't vote because I feel like you're not fully developed.
I support it because I think it will be a good opportunity for people that are under the age of 18 to have a say on what's going on, and their views differ from the older people, so I think it will be a good change.
I believe that while their brain isn't fully developed, same thing with 18-year-olds, they are still affected by things that Swampscott does, so it would make sense for them to be able to vote on different things that they happens to Swampscott voting on votes.
Oh, well, I kind of think it varies, 18-year-olds, again, your brain isn't fully developed, and, some people might make choices they regret, but that's with everybody though, so.
I think it's a interesting idea that could probably work out in the future if it goes well.
I think 16-year-olds they are a part of this community, so they should have the same rights as any other person a part of this community.
We can only wait to see what the verdict will be about whether or not the town should change the voting age.
The race for the Swampscott Select Board is heating up as the town prepares for a pivotal election that could shift the local leadership landscape. With seats on the line, 4 candidates are officially waiting your vote: Ted Dooley, Wayne Godfrey, Charlie Petizos, and Wayne Spritz. To help residents navigate the changing face of the board, the Swampscott Tides is set to host a live debate. This will be a critical opportunity for voters to hear directly from the candidates on issues ranging from local development to the town budgeting before heading to the polls.
Our own robotics club is going to district championships. This has been a culmination of a lot of hard work, and we want to give them a chance to represent themselves. Thomas Arrington produced this next story, taking a look at how the team was prepared.
Swampscott High School's first robotics team, Team 4311, the Swampscott Currents, recently competed at their first competitions of this year. The New England District North Shore event held at Reading Memorial High School hosted 38 teams from around New England to participate in this year's first robotics game, Rebuilt.
Yeah, the goal of this year's game is to collect a bunch of yellow balls on the field called Fuel, and to score them into one main goal called the Hub. So that's what our robot does. It has an intake, goes around, picks up all the balls, and then shoots them into the goal.
The Currents finished in rank 9 of 38 during qualifications and became the captain of the 7th-seeded alliance during the playoffs.
Yeah, the robot is pretty complicated this year. The team's put in a lot of hard work to make it work. We've tried to prototype a lot of the different intake and the shooter. So we've worked through a lot of issues, but we're pretty happy with where we are. We're always trying to make it better, and we're excited for the competition this week.
Additionally, the team faced off at Revere High School at the Greater Boston Area District event. At this event, Swampscott performed the same as before, ranking 9th overall and once again becoming the captain of the 7th Alliance during playoffs. Overall, the team has performed well and is looking forward to competing at the district championship later this week. This event will be held at the Big E Fairground in Springfield, Massachusetts. This event will host the top 100 teams in New England with a chance at advancing to the World Championships in Houston later this year.
We hope that the robotics team can concede, and we wish them the best of luck. That's all for the news desk, so let's go over to Carlos for this week's weather.
Thanks, Cam. Starting this weather segment with a look at the weather radar, there doesn't seem to be any major storms heading towards Massachusetts. A small rain and snowstorm will be moving through parts of Canada and very minor parts of upper New York. Along with that, some extra smaller storms are present in other parts of the U.S. but don't seem to be heading towards Mass. Then if we take a look over at Swampscott's live camera, we could see a mix of many different clouds and sunshine, with hints of possible rain today as well. Last but not least, the 7-day forecast. Today is seeming to be a bit warmer than normal, with the lowest being in the high 40s and the warmest being in the high 60s, with chances of rain later on in the night. Don't party out in the streets, ladies and gentlemen. Thursday is a day of downs with rain for a good chunk of the day, with lows in the 40s and highs in the 50s. Friday is the happier counterpart of Thursday, sunny with partial clouds and some respectable temperatures throughout the day. Saturday went up to Friday, being just slightly warmer with higher highs and higher lows. Sunday starts with hints of showers in the early times of the day, with some sunny rays happening later on, though with some overcast with some rain showers happening at night. May I repeat, don't party in the streets, kiddos. Monday seems like a copycat of some of the previous days, rain in the early morning with overcast skies later, but with some extra wind throughout the day, giving us just another reason to hate Mondays. Then for Tuesday, I don't quite know what to say. You see the high temperature, ladies and gentlemen, 77 degrees. We are slowly approaching warmer weather, and I couldn't be more excited. There'll also be some clouds later with some smaller periods of showers, but that's not what's important on Tuesday. That's all for the weather segment today. Let's take it over to the sports desk with Alex and Aramis, where they'll deliver the newest updates on sports.
The baseball team is firing up the season with a blowout win against Saugus, 14-0. They lost to Bishop Fenwick, 5-12 on April 6th, but on the upside, an amazing 3-run home run by Michael Collins. We have a roll in here to see the highlights of this game. Wow.
Big hit, big
Good hit, good hit, good hit.
I can't tell
You
if
can
that
see
was
him
bad.
running, you can see him running.
Was that Michael Collins?
Yes. All right. They won against Marblehead 7-1 on April 8th. A Marblehead hit a home run, yet missed the plate, so it got called out and did not count, surrendering a win to Big Blue.
They beat Winthrop 16-14 on April 10th. They play away in Gloucester today at 4:30. So good luck to the boys. On a side note, for the first time in Swampscott, we now have live recordings of the baseball games. So if you ever have time, when you can support the team, tune in on our athletics YouTube.
Yep.
The softball team had an unfortunate loss against Saugus to start the season off 0-12. They also lost to Marblehead 0-12 on April 8th. They lost to Winthrop 14-15 on April 10th, and they lost to Hamilton Wenham 1-14 on April 11th. The season, as we can see, is starting off very slow for the softball team, but it's only the beginning, so there's time to improve. They play home today at Gloucester at 4:30.
Yep, sounds like a very exciting season. So, last Friday, the boys lacrosse team got to run it back against Marblehead after winning at the buzzer 2 weeks ago against the Magicians.
In their first matchup, it was a back-and-forth game in Marblehead, and for the rematch in Swampscott, Magicians stole a back-and-forth game in Swampscott and gave the Big Blue their second loss of the season. They now stand at 3-2, and the boys have another game today at home against the Salem Witches. Make sure to catch the action on YouTube at Swampscott Big Blue Athletics.
That's right.
Last Wednesday, girls lacrosse team smashed through the Winthrop defense, scoring 18 points in the first league game. Their record stands at 4-1 when they played Marblehead on the 10th and won 15-9. Last game was against Gloucester on the 13th, and they had a blowout win, 17-4. They play against Salem away later at 6:30, so good luck to them.
Track and field has recently been displaying some impressive performances. At their last meet, most, if not all, of their seniors placed in high margins of their divisions and activities. Accompanying this impressive display of athleticism, the very same seniors and even some juniors have taken both sophomores and freshmen under their wing, guiding their performance to be the very best for when they have to replace the seniors next season. Good luck to the track and field team at their next meet.
The tennis team had their first match and won against Bishop Fenwick on Friday, March 27th. They also beat Saugus 3-2 on Monday, April 6th at the Belmont tennis courts. They played Linfield and won 5-0 at the Linfield courts. And then they beat Marblehead 3-2. So it looks like the tennis team is off to a great start. They have a match against Winthrop today at Winthrop, so good luck to them.
Yep. All right, so
This is girls tennis.
I think so.
Yep.
All right, girls tennis. First match against Bishop Fenwick was postponed, and they played St. Mary's High Monday, March 30th at home. Oh, no, this is the boys tennis team. I'm sorry. And then they lost 2-3, and they played Bishop Fenwick Monday, April 6th. At home, they won 3-2. They played Linfield High Thursday, April 9th at home, lost 2-3. They played Marblehead Monday, April 13th. Let's just say they won. All right. They have a match today, April 15th against Winthrop. It's at home. So wish them luck. And that's all for sports. So let's move over to the entertainment desk with Rosalie.
Tamagotchi Life Living the Dream is a sequel to the 3DS classic that will be releasing tomorrow on the Nintendo Switch 1 and 2. News of this game brought lots of excitement to old fans who've been waiting for a Switch release for years. When a demo came out of the game a few weeks ago and people got their hands on it, they realized that the game allows for a lot more creativity than they realized. The game features zero filter on what you can make the Mii characters say and talk about in the game, unlike the previous game that prevented you from entering inappropriate and explicit words. This has sparked a little bit of controversy in the fan base, as some are thrilled that they have unrestricted creativity with their Miis, while others are worried that the lack of restrictions will cause the kid-friendly content to become too mature. Overall, tons of fans from across the ages are excited for the return of Tamagotchi Life despite the controversy. There are other games that have accumulated a certain amount of hype, such as Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight, and 007 First Light will all be releasing in May. For movies this April, we will be seeing releases such as a Michael Jackson biopic titled Michael, a new rom-com from the director who brought us She-Hulk titled You, Me, and Tuscany, and an autobiographical documentary about the Saturday Night Live's creator Lorne Michaels called Lorne. The highly anticipated sequel to The Devil Wears Prada will be hitting theaters on May 1st. On April 9th and 10th, Swampscott Drama Club performed the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, a coming-of-age story about 6 wacky spellers, their journeys through adolescence, and the spelling bee itself. The main 6 spellers are played by Scout Meyer-Smith, Michael Schwartz, Milo Kalabokis, Kira Madruga, Leo Blessman, and Christy Van Dam, with many others supporting in ensemble roles. The musical was a success, with many parents and peers coming to watch the show, especially Friday night. Thank you, Drama Club, for 2 wonderful nights of theater. That's all for entertainment. Let's move on to the upcoming events at the sports desk.
Thanks, Rosalie. For upcoming events, we have the Swampscott High School French trip was already set out from Tuesday, April 14th. We'll be returning Sunday, April 26th. The Earth Removal Advisory Committee will have a meeting today on April 15th at the 3rd floor conference room at Town Hall. The Swampscott Robotics District Champs begins today from April 15th to April 19th at Springfield, Massachusetts. Patriots Day, along with April Break, happens on April 20th, and break runs until April 24th. And finally, the annual town elections happen on April 28th at the Swampscott High School. That's all for upcoming events. We thank you for watching this episode of Big Blue News.
Make sure to like, subscribe, and tune in to next time.